Good morning and good afternoon, Asia. What a pleasure to be here talking to you all on this FinTech Connect Asia conference 2021. It's a pleasure because for me, it's been a phenomenal learning listening to some of you. And I'm sure as I interact with you, it'll be a learning experience as well. The topic that I'm going to talk about is how to act decisively and close the gap with nimbler competition to better serve your digital customer. Let me start with the context. And I'm sure all of you will empathize with this. Volatility and uncertainty is here to stay. It's not going to go away in a hurry. This in turn has accelerated some behavioral shifts, some which are permanent, some which are semi-permanent, and some which are fleeting. Lots we know about our consumers and our industry is changing, and that too very fast. In this context, how do we win? Because the new normal has changed quite dramatically in the last 18 months. Here are some thought starters. The first one, when I look at financial services, the evolution of financial services has been fueled dramatically by digital. Let me share with you a few of my findings. There's been a rise of neobanks or digital-only banks, growing importance of eKYC to enable faster and authentic digital onboarding, the ecosystem approach to selling insurance as an example through partnerships, selling through partnerships. If you look at Untitled Healthcare Insurance, we actually try and get better health for our customers. And therefore, you need to partner the ecosystem. Mobile peer-to-peer lending platforms are on the increase. Let's look at some of them big in the world. Lending Club in the US, Menio, Crowdo in Asia. I'm sure there are several more. The rise in QR code payments, both for online and offline commerce, is another trend that I'm noticing. Use of AI and ML, artificial intelligence and machine learning, for personalized service offerings. People are looking for personalized offerings, and technology is matching up to it. And of course, the key role of online payments, given the surge in digital commerce. So there is some major shifts in the financial sector. Let's understand the voice of consumer and what do consumers expect in this new normal. Here are some things that I picked up from various parts, India, parts of Asia, but I'll try to put it together for you. Consumers are looking for instant decisioning. They want it quick. They need a loan at the click of a button. Their loan needs to be like spending on credit card. Second, trust and security. That doesn't change. That's something that's coming for a long time. Because given the digital world, there is a fear that they could be defrauded. Third is unbiased advisory. They're looking for unbiased advice, whom they can trust for their investments, not biased advice, which are focused on the products that you're selling. Fourth, flexible products. They want products that are flexible. Just because I invested in something today doesn't mean I will continue to invest in the same thing tomorrow. Could I change the nature of that? Could I have flexibility in paying? Could I have a minimum guarantee given to me? Moving from there is the personalized offerings. Can I get something tailor-made to my need, my goal that I have? That's becoming important. Further, some from technology side and some from the convenience, from the consumer side, they're looking for a seamless experience. It takes too long to load. It's obviously, it is all mobile first. She has to keep finding her detail. The web page takes too long to load, etc., etc. Convenience. There are too many platforms. I want them to work seamlessly. via a single application. So the UI UX needs to be simple yet personalized. Guided assistance is becoming very important too. Can somebody actually hold my hand and walk me through a transaction? Can somebody speak my language? And this is not true just in India. It's true in Indonesia, in Thailand, in Vietnam. Can you speak my language? And of course, this whole thing about where can I find you? When you look at the voice of consumer and what their expectations are, let's then see what it means. What are the implications for us? And I have, of course, the normal stuff I have not tried to put, which I'm sure you guys are good at. I'm just trying to put from my side, what could be implications decoding the voice of consumer in the new normal? There are new ways of looking at cohorts. Of course, the standardized SEC, et cetera, continues. But you can actually look at cohorts through the internet browsing behavior. Retirees are different, whose lives haven't really changed all that much with limited social contact. But they need help in their way that they browse. The work from home has made a big difference to the consumer. Those who have been laid off, how do you give them products when they're not earning that much? And there are people who are still living their life as if nothing has changed. So you can actually look at emerging cohorts through the internet browsing behavior. Demographics, there are a few interesting, we have always done demographics as cohorts, but there's some interesting cohorts that we are beginning to see. Teenagers. Who are teenagers? Teenagers are people like me. Seniors and empty nesters who take on millennial characteristics of consumption. They have money, they're healthy, they have an active lifestyle, and children have moved on and they're on their own. So it's like starting a new life, but nobody really focuses on them. We're beginning to see this segment with real purchasing power making a difference in the future. Gen Z, of course, I'm sure you guys are fully aware of, who are digital natives, who understand the world. They have no understanding of the world before the smartphones. So they're growing up. Gen Z is an interesting one. Women, a very, very important cohort that seems to be emerging from the demographics part. They are becoming more important than ever before, and work from home has only accelerated this trend. From a geography point of view, even if you look at India, for example, middle and rural India, empowered smaller tier cities with consumers, given the rapid growth in infrastructure, and this is true of many of our other countries in Asia as well, and given the rapid growth of infrastructure and progress in small towns and small cities, they don't feel compelled to migrate anymore. And as a result, this cohort is also an interesting cohort to look at. So one big thing that I can say is that there is a new way of looking at the emerging cohorts. What does this imply in terms of consumer trends? And here are a few ones that I picked up. Not necessarily this is exhaustive. Simplification. With so much of content and so many devices, brands should help consumers in selection. Identity-based curation, first-time empowerment. Green rush, reckless consumption from previous generations have been there. Gen Z prefers sustainable brands. Do-it-yourself mentality. The whole concept of UI, UX, intimate technology, seamless customer journeys is there to improve immersive experience. Gamification is an interesting way to learn and get attention and time. Self-dependency, given privacy, the importance of privacy and the rising fear of data misuse, that's creating a big need. And transparency, making sure that you're close to the end consumer and there is a premium that consumers are willing to pay on transparency and privacy. So these are some of the trends that we are noticing in the last few years. Let's see how some of the companies have worked on it. Ditto is a company in India that actually simplifies insurance. Insurance is extremely complicated according to consumers. I mean, there are lots of, according to consumers, lots of things that they don't understand, lots of things, the pitfalls they don't clearly see. And Ditto actually helps them uncomplicate this, make it simpler, and help them narrow down, helps consumers narrow down their choices, avoids pitfalls, and makes consumers take better thought through decisions. Great example of simplification. Curation based on identity. Walrus again is a great example in India, which is looking at Gen Z banking. Completely different from anything that we've seen. Very interesting, focused on Gen Z. Green Rush. You've seen the HSBC work on Green Rush across the world, on green deposit programs to finance eco-friendly projects, looking at Green Rush as a trend. Hyper-personalization, which is Oro Wealth, looks at clearly focused on differentiating needs of consumers based on at what point of time in their life are they, and their goals. It is individually managing, personalized to their needs, to their goals that they want to reach. This is hyper-personalization. Gamification, there are lots of them across the world, but this is a game app that enables you to set aside money in a savings account by allowing them to unlock games of chance. And of course, privacy, DBS Treasures is a great example of how they're actually beginning to talk about this openly, saying that we know you are sensitive about your data and we understand that. And therefore, consumers are looking for openness. And I think that's going to make a big difference to the way things are proceeding in the future. So thus far, we've looked at what's the impact on financial services, what's the voice of consumer, what do consumers expect. We decoded that in terms of trends. Now let's see what can be done to win in this new normal. Again, thoughts for you to consider. This is a model that I recommend you think about. The future of growth is all about focusing on consumer customer and driving businesses sustainably. That's the A of growth. Those are the two big needs of the future from any corporate or any organization's point of view. So those are the two pillars. And the enablers are digital, innovation, and partnerships. Innovation, whether it's inside out or outside in through partnerships, and partnerships could be between enterprises, with startups, with government, with academia, value chain, and what have you. Don't think technology first, think consumer customer first, and think how to drive businesses sustainably. And everything else are big enablers. So in many ways, we are a connected ecosystem. So what I would say is, irrespective of which business you are in, or we think like a consumer company and operate like a responsible technology company. I underline the word think like a consumer company, responsible company, and a technology company. Every company is a technology company. Either you are a user of data, or you're creating data, or you're creating partnerships. But there is no company that is not a technology company. So keeping this A model in mind, here is what I will share with you, my 34 years in the industry. First of all, pardon me for saying day of her life. Look at the red. It says 6 by 6 by 6 by 4, day of her life. Why do I say her life? Because faster men understand that very little calls are made by them. Most calls are made by families and women. Better it is for you. This is my Unilever learning. I spent 24 years with Unilever, and I think it was very clear to us that you have to think about her life. If you're not relevant to her, she's there living her life. She's not there to buy your brands or your technology. That's the first and the most important thing. Let me come to the first 6. 6 senses. 5 physical, touch, sight, smell, hear, and taste, and 1 emotion. Think about for 10 seconds, is there any decision that you've taken in your life ever that doesn't involve either of these 6 senses or a combination of these 6 senses? Don't waste your time. You won't find a single decision till now that you've taken, which are sons of 6 senses. That's the first 6. Then there are 6 needs. Consumers are very simple. How do I bring out my personality better by looking better? How do I stay healthy? Me and my family. How do I have a nice home? Not a house. How do I stay connected? Physically, by traveling, and virtually through mobile phones. How do I have fun? What do I do in my free time? How can I have fun with my family and friends? And the last 6 is the well-being. Well-being has got 4 clear insights. The first one, my kid better than me. I haven't found in the entire world any parent that says, my kid is not good enough, I'm okay. What can I do? Not one. Extent may vary to which parents or family or parents may go for their kids. But my kid better than me is true as an insight across the world. Second, I want my investment to grow. I haven't found a single guy who says, last 3 years, my investment has been declining. It's okay. It's fine. Not one guy. So my investment should grow. 3, do I have a backup insurance in case something happens to me for my loved ones? Everybody looks for a backup. And number 4, do I have a social standing beyond work? Am I recognized beyond work? Those are the 4 in well-being. So when you look at it, a lot of the finance area talks about well-being, but it's also about looking better. It's also about staying healthy. It's also about better home. It's also about staying connected and having fun. So those are simple 6 needs. And the last is 6 technologies. When I asked my grandfather and my father what technologies were there during their times, and they talked about wheels, flying aeroplanes, mobile phones, etc., etc. Currently, there are 6 technologies. At any point of time, there are 6 technologies. But the pace of these technologies are getting faster. So during our time, this pace is changing every 3 years. I shudder to think what happens in the next 30 years. How quickly is these technologies going to change? Today, it's augmented reality, virtual reality, IoT, robotics, 3D printing, cloud computing, and data sensors, AI, and ML. Now, when you combine these 3 for any business, you can create magic. You can create magic for any business. But what do? We think technology first, think consumer last. But remember, think consumer 6 needs, think consumer 6 senses, then think of marrying the technology to achieve the 4 business objectives that I know in my life. I haven't found a 5th one. If anybody has, I'd be delighted to know and learn from you. First is enhance consumer experience for future top line and bottom line. Second is build sustainable businesses for the future. Third is drop the obvious ones, top line, bottom line, and cash, obvious ones. So my understanding of 34 years is you can marry 6 senses, 6 needs, 6 technologies to achieve a business objectives by being relevant in the life of her, in her life, by being relevant in her life, you will be successful. I hope you've got a sense of what I wanted to say. Future is enabled from data, all right. But there is a move, and I want you to think data to intelligent data with emotions. Can data have emotions? If I've bought a bag and put it into my cart, should you be showing me more bags which are similar price? That to me is not intelligent data. That's data for the sake of data. Intelligent data would be if you tell me that I'm buying a bag, what accessories I should buy. That's intelligent data. But if you understand for whom I bought that bag, I bought it for my daughter, okay? And she's going to Tanzania. Oh, I know that he has a daughter. I know she's interested in wildlife. That's much better. That's data creating emotions. And I think you must make the transition from data to intelligent data and intelligent data with emotions. And to do this, you have to maximize the value of each connect, pre, during, and post. Don't think, the last point that I made here, don't think transactional, think lifetime value. Next, personalization for my need and service is critical. Fintech is not in the business of product alone. It's product and service. Redefine the business you are in. Third, redefine your business meaning. What's the purpose that you're serving in consumers' life space? That's your purpose. Third, virtual consumer service, customer service is here to stay. It will become mainstream. Move from omni-channel. We have a lot of channels and we try and do them individually or independently. You have to connect them all. And you have to give the similar kind of experience that the brand stands for. Seamlessly and in the same manner across channels. That's what I call omnipotent. Partnerships and ecosystems play is critical. This is not about going alone. This is not about 1 + 1 + 1 is 3. No, 1 + 1 + 1 is 111. Think about partnerships. Think about ecosystem play. And like I said, think lifetime value rather than transactional value. Sometimes I wonder if a parent has a bank or is working with a fintech company, why would the children go somewhere else? If you build a relationship for life, you are in the business of creating lifetime value. Just remember that. And therefore, activate your brand purpose in this area and space of ethical and sustainable consumerism, because they are here to stay. Let me end what I wanted to say by sharing a beautiful video that I found on the net from Capwing. Thank you, Capwing. This is a video that talks about 2030 from the eyes of the financial world. I hope you'll enjoy the video.
It will be very different than today for investment managers. Take K30, a joint venture that serves 2030's more diverse, informed, and demanding customers. Dow is a direct K30 client. He's 27, smart, social, successful, and just starting out in the world of savings and investments. Dow chose his asset manager using global peer network ratings. He likes K30's innovative approach. With a new fiancée, Dow has huge life events ahead. They need good advice so they won't struggle like his parents. Running a portfolio of international businesses keeps Dow busy, but he's keen to learn and proactively manage his future. K30 sent him personalized alerts, from real-time investment information to progress updates on his objectives. Dow needs outcome certainty and likes that K30 aggregates his broader financial position across providers. K30 know that Dow has some cash put aside. They suggest a few opportunities which may be of interest and invite him to an online training seminar to learn more. Dow grew up with data, so he drills down further. Then he crowdsources ideas through his social network. He has much to discuss with his fiancée and K30. Meanwhile, Jen is working from home. Since her husband Tim died, Jen's had to rethink her investment priorities for retirement, if you can still call it that. A message arrives from her grandchildren in Cape Town saying how much they miss her. Jen decides it's time to adjust her investment portfolio and start a new chapter. As a couple, Tim and Jen prioritized healthcare and buying a vacation property. But now Jen's future is different. She calls her asset manager. Since her younger years, K30 have always been there, with a network of advisors to provide support and advice. Jen needs them now more than ever. Feeling reassured, Jen calls Aiden and Suki. She's going to visit, and may even try and take them to space. In the future, investors will look and act very differently.
What can I say? It was almost like this video was made for what I just said. I can only say thank you, Capwing. Honestly, friends, ladies and gentlemen, future is closer than you think. all that we talked about is very much on its way. Thank you very much. Look forward to your questions and staying in touch. Bless you.